it.
I'm trying.
It'll be good though. I'm so excited about this conversation.
I am too. I'm excited to know what you're gonna ask me because I notice how you have a lot of questions, but it don't never flow exactly on the question thing. That's why I didn't study them enough.
Yeah, it definitely does not flow. We kind of just go with it because I mean it's
gonna be
naturally
a
a good conversation.
Right?
Yes, naturally ends up being a good conversation. All right, so are you ready? Because I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so we are live. Welcome to No Cap Wednesday. I'm Uriah Baker, your host, and I'll be talking to some interesting, cool, creative, inspirational people from the Benton Harbor community. This is the 4th episode, so we have 2 more to go, and tonight's guest is Verna Abdullah, or McGruder now. Verna McGruder. I'm so excited to talk to Verna because she's somebody who inspires me. She does so many cool things in the community and has a very interesting story about how she got to where she is now. And we'll touch on some of that tonight. So thank you for being here. I need everybody who is on here to share, like it, and share it again.
Circulate it.
Okay, let's get this going. So Verna, tell us about yourself.
All right. So, hi, my name is Verna McGruder. I am going by my maiden name because I am a divorcee single parent of 2 young daughters. I'm a registered nurse in our area. I'm actually a public nurse because I service hospice in this area. I was a CNA for 10 years before I became an LPN in 2007. And then in 2013, I got my RN. And I'm excited. And right now, currently, I'm working on my bachelor's degree. I should be done in April. A couple more months, 3 more months.
That's so exciting. I know exactly how it is to be in school and doing all the other stuff because I'm a student too. So I know how it is. An unconventional student at that.
Right.
All right. So let's get started in these questions. So if you've watched before, we always start with a really big question and then kind of zoom in. So that's called our miracle question. So if you could go to sleep right now and wake up tomorrow morning to a perfect Benton Harbor, what does that look like? What has changed? And how do we get there?
If I can go to sleep and wake up to a perfect Benton Harbor, first of all, the crime would be obliterated. The crime rates would be gone. There will be more whole family homes where the father is in the home as well as the mother. There will be more business ownership, more jobs, happiness. I wouldn't say religious, but just boundaries of Christianism. The thing that this world or the United States was built on was Christianism. So I would like for us to get back to the roots of being Christian and doing what thus says the Bible. But just, the crime rate gone, happy working unit families.
I love that. And I especially love the fact that you just made up a word. We're gonna coin that. Christianism.
Especially when I'm nervous. I like to do that.
It's okay. We love it. So the last part of that question, how do we get there?
How do we get there? To me, first of all, what we're doing right now, awareness. Making people aware that it needs to be done, making people aware that the issues are current. I think that I'm old-fashioned. I think it starts with the heads, the leaders, the pillars. Everybody might not agree with this, but it's just my opinion and you asked. I think that we need to support our men. And since this is a predominantly Black area, community of Benton Harbor, Michigan, that we're talking about, our Black men, support them, educate them, teach them. A lot of times that we're disciplining them a lot, but we're not educating, we're not giving them options and resources. So I would say we would start with the leaders and support the women who's been holding it down when the leaders weren't there. Just a bunch more education, a bunch more resources, and just, being supportive of one another.
Yeah. I love that. So I want to go back just a little bit. Tell us some of the stuff that you're doing right now or that you have done besides school and all that in the community.
Okay, so in the community right now, I'm very focused on finishing school, but I'm really amped up about the stuff that I feel like is about to happen. A lot of people know me as the Tshirt Lady. I guess somebody gave me that title. I like to do things in the community. I go around the community and I give out food, water in the summer, popsicles, things for the children, sandwiches, hot dogs. But one of the basic things of my ministry, part of my ministry that God gave me, is T-shirts. And I put scriptures on the T-shirts, and I changed them out throughout I've changed them twice,
Mm-hmm.
but I've only given out two. I've only given out two different ones, but they have a scripture on it just to kind of like give the community some hope and just kind of think about Jesus, just think about the Lord. I'm not trying to sway anyone, but just something to put on their minds. And God gave it to me years ago that a lot of times we're walking around passing out tracts and giving people tracts. I usually throw tracks away. I was thinking about when I was in the streets and I hadn't given my life to Christ. I would always have this burning, yearning urge to get closer to Christ, but I was so in my own way. I felt like I could never reach him,
Mm-hmm.
except for remembering times where there were sometimes Jehovah Witnesses or one of his witnesses would come by, give me a word, of hope. But a lot of times I would throw the track away because 9 times out of 10, I'm out in the streets or at a store or something. I would throw a track
Right.
away. And I thought about it. Nobody's going to throw away a T-shirt.
Mm.
So if I can invest in God's people, hopefully they would know that they are valued and that God loves them in a way that they're more than just paper. I'm not putting people down for the paper, but I'm saying it was more than just paper for me. I wanted to make an impact, kind of create a footprint for them.
That is so cool. If you have been around Benton Harbor, you have definitely seen one of these T-shirts. I have one in my closet right now.
I
I don't
forgot to
think I
bring
was
them
even supposed to
down.
have one. Huh?
I forgot to bring them down. They upstairs.
Oh, it's cool. I have one in my closet somewhere. And I don't think I was supposed to have one. I think
You
I,
weren't. You
yeah.
weren't. Let's point that out. Because I was only giving them out to the community. But
Yeah.
of course, I was part of a church and the church wanted one. And I'm like, look, all we got to do is read the Bible. But the people that were willing to come out and support and help us pass them out, I would give them a T-shirt. But for some odd reason, you slipped through the cracks that day.
No, I think I went out with you one
You
day and
went
passed
out.
out T-shirts.
You did
Yeah.
go out, but you had a T-shirt on before you even went out. We
I
don't, we
had
don't
to
know
be
how that happened.
prepared. I had to be prepared.
Hmm. But it was cute, so I wasn't mad.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
So, what are some of your biggest priorities for our community? I know you mentioned safety and stuff like that. So, tell us a little more about that.
The biggest priority I have is to do what I didn't see a whole lot of people doing for me, but some did, is to educate and, just kind of help change the minds of our community. A lot of times that people don't know or understand our culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was put into professionalism without any tools. I didn't know what to do and how to
Mm.
do it. So I was having a hard time and a struggle trying to assimilate in the job,
Yeah.
in the work environment. A lot of times my attitude was corrupting my career. However, I remember shout out to Miss Willie Isom. I think that was her last name. Icom, Willie Icom. Anyway, Miss Willie, we call her Miss Willie. She would literally groom me. Like she would see my attitude at times and she would pull me into a closet, not trying to make a scene like most people, they want to make a scene and they want to be the one to get you told and get you read. But she pulled me to the side with love and kindness and guided me and said, hey, you can do this better than that. If somebody responds to you a certain way, then you can respond in a different way. So I just came back to the community so that hopefully I can be an example. I make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not perfect and it is what it is. I'm probably going to do that until the day I die. However, if someone can look up to me and I be the person that inspires them to be, who they become, like my aunt, shout out to my auntie Phil. She's the nurse in the family. And I made it up in my mind at 7 years old that I was going to become a nurse. And, lo and behold, today I'm a nurse. However, it was a hard, long road getting there because I was coming from poverty. I was coming from, people that, I didn't see a lot of people working when I was a child. So
Mm.
I just want to be that example. I want to be that support. I want to show them that we can do this. We can if you want to do it. If you want to do it, let's get it done. And how can I help? I would love to be a support. I love to help. whatever I can do. It doesn't always have to be financial. A lot of
Yeah.
times people think that I'm not going to help you because I don't have it financially. It could be a ride, it could be transportation, it could be guidance, it could be, just a good word and encouragement. And sometimes I need that same thing. I have people calling me all the time, to get good advice, and they end up giving me advice. They end up encouraging me. So,
Yeah.
how I plan to do it is hopefully awareness, support, education, resources. One of the things that I was thinking about doing, I don't know what it is. Every time I get an idea, I try to like make it bigger than just a personal thing. Like, I think it was last year or year before last, I was planning my daughter's birthday party, and it turned into
Yeah.
a citywide free barbecue, and just to encourage the city. And then like recently, I've had this urge to go skating. I even bought some skates. I don't know why. So anyway, I bought some skates, but then I started thinking about the old skating ring in Lakeshore, and I started contacting people to see how can we invest in this skating ring to the point where we can get our city people out to the skating ring, off of the streets, out of the crime, scene, and all the bad influences that we're seeing, and into something. Because when I was young, the thing that stopped me from doing things was money. I didn't have any money.
Mhm.
I didn't have any support. I didn't have a ride if somebody was to give me the money. So how about we try to figure out how to make it free? Because it's a lot of young me's out there. It's a
Yeah.
lot of young me's. And a lot of times we look over them, we overlook them because they're like, oh, their parents are taking care of them. Their parents are doing the best that they can, but their children dream of doing things that they see their peers doing and their, classmates doing, and I couldn't do. I remember, what is her name? There was a young lady that used to pick up people from Highland Projects. Shout out to Highland Projects. The old Highland Projects is what I'm from. But anyway, she would pick us up, Lou, and she would pick up the city and take them into a theater, and they called it the Lock-In. And we could never go. We always wanted to go. We could never go. We never had the money. And I think it was really, really cheap. And I remember one day we got our Halloween candy snatched, and she found out about it, and we were out there crying, and she asked us, if we wanted to come for free. And that was our first time. I ended up not going because I ended up being afraid, but my sisters went. But it's just, we didn't have those resources. So I was
Yeah.
thinking, and I contacted our new superintendent. I think it was Townsend is his name.
Mhm.
Our superintendent of Benton Harbor. Anyway, I contacted him because Berrien Springs has a program where they pay for their inner city children to do extracurricular activities such as, bowling or rec center, or something. And I'm like, how can we get that in Benton Harbor? Because if we can get a grant that would pay for them to go skating for free, we can work on other things. So that's one of the ideas that I have on the table. I can barely wait to finish school because I have so many other ideas that I'm trying to get the community involved. And I know someone that can write grants really well. So we're going to incorporate her. And just get some people. And I got another guy that's willing to invest financially in the skating ring if we can see what's going on with the owners. But that's one of the things we got going on behind closed doors. It's kind of like a newborn. It's not really in full up and running, but that's my thoughts, that's my goal, and I'm going to try to get that done for the city, for the community.
That is such a cool idea. And I just want to let everyone know that Verna cannot skate. We actually went skating together before. I have videos on my phone somewhere.
And I need you to delete them.
I think I might post them actually
You have
after
to
this.
tell them why. First of all, I just explained that I couldn't go a whole lot as a child. And then we went to a church where we could not go skating for almost 12 years. So we finally got out there. I thought I was going to do it. Oh, I thought I was going to do it to it. I was on the wall. I hit the floor like 30 times.
Yeah, I have a couple of those videos. At one
But
point,
I got back up.
you fell and made someone else fall with you.
But I got back up.
That's all that matters. There's definitely a message in that.
And I got back up, and that's what we're doing for the community. When you down, just get up.
Get up.
Just
Listen,
get up.
if you don't take anything else away from this, get back up.
You know what? One of my favorite quotes from Denzel Washington, only the sexiest man alive. And you know what makes him hot? It's not his looks, it's who he is, his integrity, his character for me. But he says, if you fall 7 times, get back up 8. That sentence empowered me throughout the last 2 years of my life.
Yeah.
If you fall 7 times, get up 8. And actually, that's one of the quotes that I was going to give away in the big barbecue that I gave away. But a lot of things went wrong. But I'm gonna do it again.
Listen, it was fun though, because I went, and that was a fun little time. I ate good.
It was fun.
And
My family came up to support. It was very fun. And actually, I learned so much. I learned so much about me. I learned about what I need to do next time. I was overwhelmed at the time, but I was determined to get it done. But you know, I learned a lot about what I need to do to make next year better.
Yeah.
Well, this year, I'm gonna do it this year, Lord's will.
Okay, I love to hear that. And you mentioned the chat and your aunt, Phil, I think her name was.
Phil, yep.
I think she's in the chat. Matter of fact, these chats,
I'm sure she is. I can't.
they are
see what
going
you
up
guys
for
can
you.
see,
They
though.
love you.
I love them too. I mean, they're my inspiration. My entire family is my inspiration. I cannot tell a story. I mean, we came from the mud. Y'all want to hear a story? We came from the mud. We come from nothing. But we owe it all to my grandmother, who's passed on. May her soul rest in peace. Lucille McGruder. Love her to death. And I know we all miss her.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that you wanted to do these things, but you didn't have the resources to do it. And then that you were in a professional world now and not prepared for that world. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Well, I was the product of 2 crack addict parents. My mother was on crack cocaine, and so was my father. So I didn't have a lot of home teaching. However, my mother was very old school. Like we couldn't do everything that everybody else did. Like my mom would come out of her high haze just to get us done, get us a good old spanking. Like school was important, cleaning up and chores were important. However, just teaching us how to function and just being appropriate and socialization, we got that from the projects. We got that from the people around us. So basically, I raised myself. I did a lot of, living on the street. I've been homeless before, so I've been on my own for quite some time. So literally, the streets raised me. So when I went back into the professional world, it was hard. I was taught to fight. Literally, we were taught to fight, and I have mentioned it to you all. It was like Pavlov's dog. If you know about that experiment, Pavlov, he did an experiment with a dog where he connected saliva with a sound, this clicking sound of some type of tool he had. So we connected the word B, the B word, to fighting. So that was my trigger. I hope, don't nobody test me in that area. I mean, God has been good, but But yeah, when we heard the word B, we knew it was go time. It was literally like Pavlov's dog. So I had to learn that I can't do that, especially as a professional. God has protected me all the days of my life that I don't have the criminal record that I know I probably would have had if God wouldn't have supported me. However, there was also some people around me that saw me that wanted to see me better. I remember our assistant principal in Coloma. I had been kicked out of Benton Harbor schools. I had been kicked out of Coloma schools. And when I got kicked out of Coloma schools, I remember Mr. Gearley, he got on me the last day I was there. I was in the 11th grade, straight A student, honor roll, well, not straight A's, but honor roll student and everything. And he's like, I'm not gonna let you die. I'm not gonna let you lose all the potential that I see in you. And this man yelled at me like he was my father. And I respected and I appreciated, even though at the time I was just I had this, I was pumped up. I had just got done fighting. I'm like, I'm trying to get this girl again, and you in my face. Well, he's like, I'm not gonna let you die. And he sent me to Job Corps at the age of 16 years old. When he sent me to Job Corps at the age of 16 years old, my career began in the medical field. And I've been in the medical field since I was 16 years old. As I stated before, 10 years as a CNA. I was 16 years old, received my CNA license as well as my GED. I was the youngest person, I believe, in the county or the state, if I'm not mistaken, to receive a GED at such an age. I had received it so early, I had to wait on my class to graduate before they can even give it to me. So I just, just being in those different arenas, I had to teach myself how to calm down. I had to teach myself how not to be so defensive. And I had to
Yeah.
teach myself how to be professional.
Man, thank you so much for being so transparent. That's such a powerful testimony. Like,
Thank you.
wow. There's a question in the chat from Miss Diane. Shout out to her.
Yay, another pillar in the community.
Yeah, she does some amazing work.
I love
Her
her.
question is, who motivates you to continue doing the desires? Or sorry, let's try that again. It's a lot going on up
It's
here.
okay, you're doing great.
It says every time I try and read it, something else comes up.
Right.
Who motivates you to continue your desire to become a nurse? Who motivated you?
As a LPN, I was so satisfied because my experience had helped me climb that ladder, and my money was good. But what really motivates me is what I see in the medical field. I felt like a small fish in a big pond. I would make a lot of noise and nobody would hear me. I would see the discrepancies and the unfairness of our people, and I would say something and I would always get in trouble. And I knew that if I climb that ladder and get more education, then they have to hear me. They have to hear me. So I just kept going and going and going. And then, I got the LP and I'm like, they can hear me now. Nope, they didn't hear me. Got the RN, they can hear me now. Somebody hears me, but not everybody. Get the BSN. It's just like a climbing a ladder so that hopefully they can hear our voice. And I plan to be a voice of our people. And I'm going to need some support. Don't look at me in my imperfections and, oh, look at all those things that she's doing. No, help me, support me. You're going to see me out of line every now and again, hopefully not a lot, but, help me like I'm trying to help us. Yeah. But yeah, that's my motivation, just to be a pillar, just to be a productive citizen.
That's so good. It's like you said, the Mr. What was his name again?
Mr. Gearling.
You're going to be somebody's Mr. Gearling.
Yeah.
And it takes a community, it takes a village to make people like you who then turn around and help other people. It's totally a process.
You got to quit being offended when I'm yelling at you, Uriah. You just got to quit being offended.
We'll talk about that later.
I'm giving you Mr. Gearling.
We will talk about that later, not on this live. I'm going to let you have it after this.
Okay. I appreciate that.
But you mentioned, being a smaller fish in a big pond. And so I'm wondering, how do those big ponds, so bigger institutions, how do they play a role in communities, and what can they do to help, and, what are they to do?
So,
how are they? Oops, go ahead.
So there are several entities. I remember when I was in nursing homes, that's some of the hardest work that you can do. And I didn't know what the hindrance was. I would always be complaining, like, why do we have so many patients, and why do we have so much that we have to do? Do the heads not know? So when I went from CNA to a nurse on the floor in the same building, I saw the different side of what the nurse had to deal with versus what I had to deal with as a CNA. Both positions were difficult. However, I also climbed the ladder and became a manager. When I looked at the manager's position, I noticed that we got some areas where we can be helping the floor, and we're not doing that. So that's where the noise started. Then I climbed the ladder more, got into closer to corporate by being a DON. I wasn't an active DON, thank God, but being a DON, but DONs of different buildings and closer.
What's the DON?
A director of nursing. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Director of nursing, and learning that it starts in corporate, and we have to make them aware of what we're dealing with on the floor. If they're not aware or realize the consequences, because a lot of them are trying to make money. You're not going to make money if you can't keep staff. If you can't keep staff, you can't keep the doors open. So we have to be keen, and you have to be bold enough to say something. A lot of times we have management that don't want to say anything. And even going to Spectrum Health Lakeland, the place where I work now, I love how we work together. Even our corporate people, they come down and talk to us, ask us questions. I remember even when the Black Lives Matter situation started occurring, my boss, Dr. Beckrow, love him to death. He asked me, he pulled me to the side, and he's like, what can we do? Like, as a corporation, what can we do to help? What can we do to support? I said, the best thing you can do right now, especially in the middle of the climate, is take a stand, put signs out to let them know that we're with them. And next thing you know, I look up and they had the Black Lives Matter on the hospital over there at Lakeland. And it was very powerful. I even made a live, if anybody's on here that know that I made a live about it. However, in the recent times, I just found out that they took the sign down. So the power that it took to put it up, it also spoke volumes when they took it down. So it's things like that that are very key and very vital. The presence, the consistency, that can be helpful, with this community. We need them.
I definitely agree. It's all about consistency. A lot of times we have conversations like this and then nothing happens after, but we have to make sure these conversations continue. And not only do they continue, but then there's products and people are inspired and work begins and things like that happen from these conversations. The conversations are vital, they're important, but we have to move past the conversations and into action. So I definitely appreciate that.
Goes into the quote that I had quoted the other day that you guys so graciously posted. If you show up, then we see that you recognize that there's an issue. But if you stay, the consistency, it lets us know that you actually care. If you just show up and then you leave after the smoke clears, it's almost, people can question your motive. They can question why you came in the first place. But if we consistently see you and you're sticking around, we know that you care.
Yeah. I definitely, man, that's so powerful. And right there, I think it's a good time to just take a pause and, kind of breathe that in. And while we're all breathing that in, I want to remind everyone to make sure they like and share this. I feel like I'm on a YouTube channel.
Circulate and
they're
ask
like,
questions.
like, share, and subscribe. So
and
make sure you guys do that. Oh, go ahead.
Another thing I want to add that the corporations can do, like this grant. The grants that we're going to be looking into writing to help support the community. If they want to, because what we do affects them, right? I mean, we're really close, St. Joe is right across the street. So, help us keep our, stuff intact. So I'm thinking that they can definitely help us financially. Money is it answers everything. So if they can help us financially, supporting us with grants to get the inner city off the streets. Even sometimes we say just the youth, even the older, if they want to go skating, if we can supply it to everybody, let's get everybody off the street if we can. Get them into something, get their mind off of the troubles. But it's a lot of poverty and unemployment right now. So I can only imagine the anger and the stress that's going on. I was talking to a friend and had not even realized this person's struggle, doing a great job hanging in there, doing a great job doing little odds and ends jobs. But like, my heart goes out to those people because I kind of was so soaked into the essential worker. I have to still work. I'm still, fighting for my life. However, I almost forgot about the people that are not working, that are doing all they can to stay above water. So money, we need support out here.
I just want to point out the fact that you struggle with that scripture, because that's a scripture, and I knew that you were trying to grab it, and I started to help you out, but that was payback for you calling me out earlier.
Say, but that would have been too much, like, right,
huh? But yeah, that's so powerful.
You're wrong.
I feel like I keep saying that's so powerful, but listen, you're spitting out wisdom. This is wisdom that I didn't even know you had. Like, where's this been?
I keep telling you, it's like a river. It's just deep,
It just flows.
It just from the inner,
That is hilarious. But as I was saying before, you so rudely interrupted me. Make sure you guys share this, and also ask us any questions that you have. We're here and we're listening. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave those as well. And I want to reintroduce you. This is Verna McGruder. I got it right this time.
Thank you.
She's a registered nurse. She's currently in school, a mother of 2 beautiful children, and a community activist, community organizer. Even though she doesn't really, I don't think you claim those titles, but that's what you're doing. That's the work that you're doing. And it's so powerful and amazing. So that's
Thank
Verna
you.
McGruder.
Thank you. Look at Uriah complimenting me. Oh,
Listen, I'm only doing it because I have to. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I'm riding
I'm
with
just
you.
kidding. That is hilarious. And you know, it's so funny. I think I'm going to change my name in your phone to the Tshirt Lady because you mentioned that earlier.
Okay. Do what you gotta do. And I'm gonna
And I
change
was
your
just
name to
thinking
something.
about that.
I'm gonna change your name to something. I ain't gonna do it right now.
You mentioned earlier that the community, leaders, local leaders, uh, you mentioned, I think, the superintendent of the school, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that you are quick to mention and shout out our mayor. Shout
Marcus.
out to you. Hopefully, we'll have him somewhere on here soon one day.
Who, Chief McGinnis?
No, oh, him too.
Oh,
But now I was talking about Marcus Muhammad. Shout out
okay.
to him. So do you think that the community knows who their leaders are, and what role can people like you play with those leaders?
Well, if they don't know, we hope they learn today. Our mayor is Marcus Muhammad. If I hope his name is Townsend. I hope I'm saying it right. Our new superintendent and the chief of police, Chief McGinnis. The
I
roles
think
that
his
they
name might be
play.
Townsend, but
Is
go
it
ahead.
Townsend?
It might be, but
Probably.
I could be wrong too. So
Okay. So these are leaders, pillars in this area. However, I think some people, if you've never been in a leadership role, I understand why you wouldn't know. But it is so hard to be a leader in the amid hardship. I
yeah,
can only imagine. So they're going to need our support, right, wrong, or in between. When they are wrong, we have to have some type of faith that together we can get it right.
yeah,
Together we can come together and right whatever wrong we see. It's more than them. They cannot do this by themselves. If you don't know who your leaders are, find out, contact them, see what you can do, and see what we can do to support them. As I've said on one of my lives, when Marcus first started, I got angry with my brother. I love him to death. He know I love him regardless of how I feel. But it was something about the garbage. And I can't even mention it too much because he's done an amazing job. Not only did he fix the garbage disposal situation, he brought the job back in Benton Harbor instead of outsourcing. So, all that money just stays into the city. He's fixing the roads, things of that nature. I've seen our superintendent. I'm just gonna call him superintendent. I should have looked
it's
him up
Dr.
before.
Townsend. I was
Dr.
right.
Townsend. Okay, so this man came out of nowhere and took on the baggage of our educational system. We've closed down most of our schools, if not all of them. I don't know how many is open. That's a heavy baggage. So we have to support him. We can't just look at him like, okay, you got the position, you making the money, what you gonna do? No, what we gonna do?
Yes,
How can
that's
we
it.
support a man that's never even been, he's not even from here, he's from Detroit. So how can we support a man that's not even from here by just saying, yeah, good luck, tell us what your plan is. He's got some excellent ideas, the marketing that he's doing, the giveaways that he's doing, the support, getting out here, getting his face out here. It's amazing. But we
Yeah,
have to support them. We can't leave them on their own. We can't do it.
man, I
Money.
second that heavy, especially because I was a part of the Save Our Schools effort. And listen, I couldn't even get into one of the town hall meetings.
Mm.
Mind you, I've been to these things several times, and I'm normally one of the only young
Why
people
couldn't
in
you get
there
in?
because it was so many people there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was so many people there. Like
Mhm.
it was way overcrowded. And mind you, I've been on normal days, and it's like 4 or 5 people there. I'm normally the youngest person there. Where are those people normally?
Right.
Like we all need to come together. We need to take control of the situation and push our leaders forward.
I
We can't
definitely
just sit
need
there
to
on the
be better at
sidelines.
that. I need to
Yeah.
be better at that. Yeah, because I need to attend these meetings because I'll be making noise and don't. I'm like a little poodle. Half the time, I don't even know half the business. I just jump in. Like, if it's a problem, let's figure it out. But at the same time, education is key. Let's
Yeah.
find out what the problem is so that we can attack it.
And that's how we educate ourselves. If there's an issue, chances are it came up in the town hall meeting before, on the agenda before. Listen, and it could have got handled then. If you had an idea, you could have presented it then, because they do have community comments. Like, there are answers, and we just need to come together and really basically solve these problems.
One of the things that I saw that was done, and I might not get a whole lot of amens, and I'm fine with that. God bless you. But I remember in the summer, somehow or another, they sent some new police officers, just kind of jumping the tracks back to the crime, which is one of the number one things one of the issues that we are dealing with in Benton Harbor, Michigan. And I noticed that they sent some brand new police officers, and they were taking they were non-tolerant. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm against police brutality and unfair treatment, especially of my people, but any people, I said that wrong, any people. I don't like people being treated unfairly. However, they weren't buddy with the city. They like, we don't have any ties with you. So if you committing a crime, we gonna lock you up. So I felt like during that time, the crime kind of went down. I don't know the stats of it, but the crime kind of went down because people were afraid. They were in the houses like, no, they out there. Yeah, I think that we need to bring that back. Get some police officers that don't know the people, that I'm not gonna accuse them of being in cahoots, but I know that when I became a manager, I found out I couldn't be buddy with the staff. I want to be a support. I want to be a server. How can I serve you to support you? But I can't be buddy because I still have to discipline and educate in the areas that need to be disciplined and educated. And I don't know where we dropped the ball, but it seemed like the people that aren't really in the street or doing anything wrong, we can get arrested for the smallest things. But the people that are out doing the crime, you walk straight past them as if that's your buddy. Yeah, we gotta change that. We gotta change that. I'm not saying that I want everybody to get locked up. I'm saying get right so you won't get locked up. Let's figure this out.
I think that's a very interesting theory. You called it before when you said everybody isn't going to agree with you, because I do not agree with you. But I mean, that's perfectly fine. I believe in community, kind of being a community. So I believe that officers should come from our community if they're going to be there, because I think that relational aspect is really important, because it makes us safer, all of us safer. I won't shoot him if I know him. He won't shoot me if he knows me. But that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic though.
However, I agree with you in every aspect of what you just said.
However,
when we had police officers from the community, the respect level, I respected our police officers no matter, who they were. Some of them I didn't like, but I respect authority. However, I'm not saying all of them. I'm definitely not saying all. I'm not saying get rid of our community police officers, because if you don't know us and you don't know our culture, how can you protect us? How can you support us? You can't do it because you're going to be too keen to discipline versus teach and educate. I remember when I was a child, police officers were teachers. They came into our schools and taught us things and gave us little stickers that we may be encouraged to become one. That dynamic has changed. Let's get back to that. I want you to be of the community, but don't be a part of the problem.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's important to just even point out that all of us are on high alert in these times. So not even, Black or brown folks, but also the officers. While I am not a police brutality or anything like that sympathizer. Sympathizer.
Let's make up words.
Listen, you're rubbing off on me. While I am not that, someone in the comments pointed it out. The police are short-staffed, so that's it then puts stress on them trying to.
Right.
Now I'm working 15-hour shifts or 12-hour shifts. I'm tired. I'm hungry. So. And again, that just goes back to what we were just saying. It takes the community. When we're all there, when we're all in places where we're supposed to be, I'm able to call out my child. Hey, sir, what are you doing?
Right. And actually that brings back a point where I was talking to Chief McGinnis a couple of months ago. I keep in touch with the leaders if I can, just to get their take on things and what's going on in the city when I'm yelling about it. But he had pointed out something that was very important, and he was saying how he has concerns with the people that are basically getting the effects of the crime that's going on, and basically they have become a collateral damage. I had to look at the words, collateral damage of what's going on in the world. But he also mentioned the fact of when the fire department and the police department had to merge. I can only imagine, and that was because of the shortage of the police officers, the elevated crime in the area, but the fire department wasn't having a whole lot of, work, so they merged it. That let us know how much of a shortage that we had in the police department. So I understand, and also I have family members that are police officers, so I'm not against police officers. I'm actually for police officers. I'm also for bringing back that old police officer mentality of teaching and educating and supporting and loving. Had it not been for certain arrests, a criminal record can ruin your career. And I believe that police officers and like you said, community police officers, we need to understand that everything doesn't mean handcuff them. Everything doesn't mean lock them up. We have to support our police officers. We have to, because the amount of stress that we're putting on them is not fair also. I don't know how to merge, the issues of the police brutality and the issues of them having a shortage, but I know what stress does. Stress exacerbates everything. But hopefully conversations like this and the community speaking and them speaking, hopefully we can get them in on the communication sometimes at some time and see where we can merge the gap.
Yeah. I
I
definitely,
don't have the
man.
answers right now, though.
We have to be. You said what? What was that last thing?
I said I don't have all the answers right now, though. I just
And
want to figure it out.
I don't think any of us have all the answers. And again, I said this earlier, that's why these conversations are so important. Just having these conversations and coming together. Listen, I might not know something, but you might not know it. But you might know it. So then if you teach me, then I can teach one. I think the saying says, man, something one, teach one.
Each one teach one.
Each one teach one. There we go. I couldn't think of it right now, but
and my cousin's wife has this nonprofit that I'll pass it on, IPO Inc. I'll pass it on. They're teaching young women how to be young ladies, and and hopefully they'll pass that on. Even everybody that's viewing right now, find someone to mentor right now.
Yeah.
Find someone, take them under your wing and try to teach them the thing. I tell my kids all the time, they be yelling at me and everything. I tell them all the time, I'm trying to teach y'all to be better than me. So of course you're gonna see my flaws. Of course you're gonna see me get wrong. They be looking at me when I get wrong like, really? Church? Yeah, really. But don't do what I'm doing, because that's what I'm trying to teach you to not do. I'm from the old school. Don't do what I do what I say. Nah. But just take someone under your wing. And even if you're not, I remember back in the day, even the drug dealers, I'm not giving them a shout out, but even the drug dealers, they would try to teach the young men, don't be like me. Don't do it my way. They would support basketball players, my brother and all that. They would give them shoes and basketballs just to keep them away from doing what they doing. Bring that back. Let's support each other. Let's take
bring the support, not the drug dealers.
We're not supporting the drug dealers. I'm
bring
saying
the support.
Even if you're doing something, God forbid, that is not the best thing to be doing, try to teach someone not to do it. Don't teach them to do and be wrong. Because that's hard to shake. It's hard to get untrained.
Listen, the whole theme of this tonight has been communal responsibility. Like if one of my shout out to Chris Gordon. That's my little brother. He's not my blood, but it's somebody that I took under. And Cameron, you too. Two guys that are making it happen now, trying to do their best that they can. And it literally just takes one person to show you, hey, you can do better, or you can do this, or you can do that. Because a lot of times, like you said, I think we talked about it before. Everybody was just at home where you were from.
Yeah.
in Highland. They call it Highland, Michigan. Everybody
We
was just
called it
sitting at
Highland
home.
Projects back then when it was, I
They
ain't
call it
even.
Highland, Michigan now. Uh, but everybody was just sitting at home, and I think you said it in another conversation that
Yeah.
you didn't even know that there were all these jobs.
Well, I didn't even know that adults worked all the time at all. When I was a child, the only people that worked around me that I saw. Now, this is not me saying everybody around. Don't start coming to me be like, oh, well, my mom worked. I didn't notice nobody working except for the teachers. It would even be weird when I would see the teachers in the store like, y'all do other stuff other than
Y'all
be at
got a
the
life?
school teaching us. So I didn't start seeing adults actually working a consistent thing. I saw a few adults, shout out to Darlene Brown, God rest her soul. But you know, a few adults working, but out of the projects, I'm just shooting out numbers. If it was 600 houses, only 2 people worked that I saw. So, you know, just kind of, this is a new world, this is a new generation, and we have to teach them the tenacity, perseverance, keep going. And I teach my kids, you know what I teach them? The difference between a job and career. I'm starting to talk fast because I see we're running out of time. The difference between a job and a career. A lot of times, if God forbid you lose a job and stuff, a lot of people, they're just filling out applications. They don't know what they're going to do. Every time I fill out an application, I know what I'm doing because I have a career. I don't have to wonder what I'm going to do. I just need to wonder which area I want to go in. There's a difference between having a job and a career, and the difference is your education. Get your education.
Yep. And exposure. Listen, find everything. That's one of the things that I loved about college so much. I thought I wanted to do one thing, and I still love what I went to school for originally. But it kind of, while I was there, it kind of just shifted, and now I'm doing work like this, and it's something so amazing, and I love it so much. So I think it's so important to be exposed to new things and try new things and go new places. So before we end, I have one more question from someone in the comment section. And then actually, I guess 2 questions. Someone in the comment section asked, how do they get a t-shirt?
Well, contact me. Tell them to hit me. I got a few left from this year, and I'll be getting more. I get them every year. I think the larger ones, I think extra large and large, if I'm not mistaken. But tell them to hit me in my DMs. I got a few left.
And do you have any of those shirts with you? I think you might have said that you have them upstairs. Or
They're upstairs. Yeah. But don't send them to my house. No.
Oh no, I definitely wasn't going to send them.
We're gonna figure it out.
They wanted to see what they look like.
Oh, can you have Cheyenne Mooney get those shirts off my ironing board? It's 2 shirts on my ironing board. And what's your next
She
question?
even ironed them for you. Look at that.
I didn't iron them. I meant to iron them, and then I got writing a paper. And being prayerful about my spirit is what I've been doing lately. But yeah, what was your last question?
And the last question, Johnny in the comment section asked, what sparked us to want to help and be the voices in the community? I'll let you answer first, and then I
was going to say, you go ahead and answer it. What sparked me is my upbringing, who I was and who I am today. I feel like if I can, anyone can. That's the number one thing I tell people all the time. When they have a dream or something that they want to do and they feel like it's too hard, I always say, if somebody else did it, you can too. So, you know, just that being that inspiration for somebody else sparks it for me.
Yeah. And for me, it was the murder of Trayvon Martin. Not to get like super deep or anything like that. Okay, you just gonna interrupt me with the shirt. That's what her shirt looks like, guys. I had the original though. Shout out to that, the original OGs. But no, to answer the question, Trayvon Martin was inspired. What his murder was what inspired me to get involved. I went to Countryside Academy, like I said before, so I didn't really experience a lot of the hood or ghetto culture, like for lack of a better word.
If you was around me, you experienced the ghetto.
I didn't really, know what was going on out there in the world so much. And then Trayvon Martin was murdered. I grew up on Lincoln, off of, what is that, Pipestone? So the hood. And there's a corner store. I used to walk to the corner store all the time. And when Trayvon Martin was murdered, it made me realize that could have been me. And so I wanted to make sure that did not happen to any other Black or brown kid or anyone who wasn't doing anything Matter of fact, even if they were doing something wrong, police aren't supposed to kill people. It's not their job. So I wanted to make sure that does not happen. And I thought that meant going to law school and going it that way. But now I've started doing this work, and I find
Look
that
at
community
God.
work, community organizing, community relations, all that is so much more impactful. And I like being in the middle of it all. So that's what inspired me. So I guess we're wrapping this on up.
We did
So
it.
thanks. Listen, this is such a good conversation. I appreciate you so much. I look forward to having so many more conversations with you. And I'm going to shamelessly plug that we are doing a panel discussion, and Verna will be there. So if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you are there for that panel discussion. More details to come on that. And thanks everybody for being here. Make sure you share it on your way out. Before you leave, share it. What Beyonce say? To the left, to the left. I think the share button's to the right. On the share button, I mean, hit the like button, which is to the left.
He don't know where it is. Y'all, can y'all find it for us and share
Please
it?
find it for me. When you find it, hit it.
This is communal thing. We're gonna do this for the community.
When you find it, hit it. Thanks so much to Spectrum Health Lakeland, the Center for Better Health, for making this event possible. Make sure you guys tune in next week. Oh, there's original.
I think I'm gonna go back to the original too.
Listen, those are classic. You'll see them all across the city, everywhere you go.
So
thanks
yeah,
so much, guys, for being here. Thank you, Verna. This was amazing. Y'all have a great night. And thanks for being here.
Good
Everybody.
night. No cap.
No cap.